Hello everyone. So, let's say that you're one of the leading brands in the world and you're about to launch a new product. So, who's going to buy that product and who should you invest most of your effort into attracting with that product's launch strategy? Well, I'm Giles and I've been working with Rolls Royce Motor Cars for the last 5 weeks to answer these questions. Let's go. So, this is Cullinan. It's a very important car for Rolls Royce because it's their first SUV. That means they're breaking into a new market and they've got very high expectations for how it's going to do. It's important to them. And because it's so important, that means that a successful product launch is crucial. So Rolls-Royce customers, they're not really your typical consumers. These people are ultra high net worth individuals. So how can you attract this type of person, get them excited and engaged with your product before it's even hit the road? Well, you invite them to really, really nice parties like that. So a Rolls-Royce launch event is a highly exclusive occasion with a very restricted guest list. So you only really want to invite the people that you can be sure are going to be excited about the product in advance and who are in a position to buy it after the event. So given that these launch events are so important for the launch strategy as a whole, how can you decide who gets to go? Well, at the moment it works like this. Rolls-Royce has about 140 dealers worldwide, and when an event is held in their region, these dealers are asked to choose some guests to attend that event, typically about 10 people per dealer. But the problem is, and that's why our dealer in blue there is so confused, that they have on the order of 1,000 people in their databases. So it's very difficult for them to manually crawl through and look at everyone and make the best decision, find the best person to go to that event. So that's a very difficult problem for them, and to convince you that this is an area that's worth working on or improving, if we can take the conversion rate that's there at the moment from people attending an event to purchasing a car, and if we can improve that by just 2%, just move the needle a bit, that's 8 figures of extra revenue for Rolls-Royce. So it's really worth doing. Okay, so given that there's this problem, how can we help the dealers out? That's what Rolls-Royce asked me to do. And what they asked me to do was to take the global customer database, the contact database of about 160,000 people, and develop 2 scores that we can assign to every individual in this data set. One score to find the people who are likely to be interested in Cullinan and excited about it as a car, and one other score to identify the people who should react positively to attending a launch event and are likely to purchase afterwards. Once we have both of these scores, we can ship them off to the dealers, and they can use it to help them make better decisions about who to invite. So that's the idea. How can we come up with these scores? Well, let's concentrate just on the example of finding people who are interested in the new car, Cullinan. What we can do is we can take a set of people where we already know that they're excited about it because they've been to their dealer and said, yep, I'd like to buy this car when it comes out, please. We can take these people and we can learn their data profile, which is a set of attributes and characteristics that they've got, which separates them from the crowd and makes them stand out. And once we've learned this data profile, that's things like how old their account is, whether they've had test drives, other Rolls-Royce events they've been to, we can simply take the rest of the data set and compare everyone to that profile. If you've hit this data profile well, we give you a high score, and we say that you're likely to want to purchase Cullinan or be excited about the car. If you don't fit the profile so well, we give you a low score, and you're probably not going to be interested. And what's great is that we can follow exactly the same strategy to develop a data profile for people who went to previous launch events and then went to buy a car, and we can use that data profile to score people about how receptive they're likely to be to attending an event in the future. Cool. So that's how we come up with these scores. Let's look at how they can be useful and help the dealers in practice. So let's take a hypothetical dealer and imagine he's got 100 customers. On the left there, 100 people on his database, sorry. On the left there, 10 out of 100 people are already interested in Cullinan, but the dealer doesn't know that, we do. And on the right, 5 out of 100 people went on to buy a car after being invited to a launch event, which the dealer obviously also doesn't know about. And let's see how we can improve things for the dealer, make his choice easier by dropping everyone who has a score of less than 50%. So that's what we get. And you can see immediately that we've kept 8 out of 10 of the people who are interested in Cullinan, and 3 out of 5 of the people who went on to purchase after attending a launch event. So immediately you can see that we've kept most of the people that we knew we wanted to keep that we're interested in, and we've removed most of the other people. So our algorithms have positive discriminatory power, and we can have confidence they're going to help the dealers out. What's most important here is that we've taken a large, unmanageable group of people, and we've reduced it to small groups which are human manageable, and the dealers can now look through by hand. And if the dealers were to just take these bottom rows and pick their customers or their event invitees at random, that would still be a much more effective strategy than if you were to just pick 21 people at random or 8 people at random, and then choose from that. So it's better than a non-data-driven strategy. So finally, I just want to convince you that these algorithms, they're not magic. There's a human intuitive way of understanding how they're working. If we go back to our first dealer from the start, this guy who was confused because he just had too many people to choose from, one of the things that was making his life harder was the fact that he was only able to really use his experience, what's happened in his dealership before, and to see what's worked for him. But our algorithms, when we trained them, they saw the entire data set of 160,000 people. So they're really learning from the successes of every dealer. And what that means is that when our dealer looks at the scores that we're giving him to help make a better decision, it's kind of like he's getting advice or judgment from all the other dealers in Rolls-Royce's network. So they're helping each other out. It's a nice story. OK, so to recap, or we can recap, there we go. This is a pivotal moment for Rolls-Royce. The launch of Cullinan is a big deal for them. And we're using data science to help dealers with their guest selection for launch events. That should hopefully result in increased sales and then increased revenue. And yeah, these scores are being deployed. They're being sent out to the dealers next week. So it's very exciting. Thank you very much.